Well, good morning. My name is Stephanie Crone, and I am with the Laker FFA. When you wish upon a star, it makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come true. Walt Disney has always been an inspiration to Connor, and I believe these lyrics from one of his songs describes Connor and his journey through the FFA. He's always had a desire in his heart to become a leader, and he stopped at nothing to make those aspirations come true. It has truly been my honor and a blessing to be beside Connor and to watch him grow throughout those years. From our many road trips to Lansing with you as my co-pilot, or all those times you and Rachel would hide from Mr. Wheeler in my office, we were too busy having our life lesson chats. I have cherished every moment and memory. Thank you for your hard work and dedication and for always being a role model, not only for the Laker FFA chapter, but the Michigan FFA as well.
I don't know why I brought a piece of paper up here. I've never used one in my life. I really got a kick out of an advisor just a few minutes ago giving her first state chapter officer her retiring address. And I thought, I don't know what's worse, giving your first one or your last one. This will be my 29th time up here for this, and I'm pretty proud of all of them. I've been fortunate enough to have 3 state presidents, and I think these state presidents really tell us what's happening in the FFA as we go along. My first one was 40-some years ago, Jim Licht. And Jim Licht just wanted to be a farmer. Today, he has one of the nicest farms in Huron County, and that's the way it was. 2005, I had another one, Jason Smith. Jason came from a farm, but didn't want to stay on the farm. And now he's studying for his doctorate degree in biotech. My third, Connor. The closest he ever came to a farm was riding on the school bus and waving at the cows. Thank you, Steve, wherever you are as dad, for making him take ag because he really didn't want it. And so it was very nice for Connor and I to kind of grow together. Connor represents that person who doesn't know what ag really is until he gets involved. And then he becomes one of the best advocates that we could possibly have for not only our FFA, but for agriculture as a whole. Because we need to keep telling agriculture's story. Connor, I have never met a person with the ability to always make the people around him better. I think that kind of sums him up. He always makes the people around him better. You know, Connor and I never always got along. I remember we always had deep discussions, but sometimes we just kind of clashed. I remember one time we were talking about his music, and he likes show tunes. And he says to me, Mr. Wheeler, that Rodgers and Hammerstein, I don't think they wrote all those musicals. And I says, okay. He says, and when I go to heaven, I'm going to tell those people that they didn't write it. I says, well, Connor, what if they're not in heaven? He says, Mr. Wheeler, you ask them. Connor always dreamed about Disneyland and When You Wish Upon a Star. And I always said, Connor, that's stupid. I says, all you have to do is outwork the other person. Well, somewhere along the line, Connor, you got it right. Because we have a motto at Lakers for our president, leave it better than you found it. And I think the Michigan FFA is better for Connor, been better because of Connor, and he left it better than he found it. Tonight, introducing your 2015 and 16 State President, Connor Ewald.
Hello, my name is Nicole Whalen. If I was told to describe this next young lady who was successful in 100 words, I still cannot provide you with the many personalities that she has. This gobstopper-loving, swing-dancing pageant princess is not afraid to arm wrestle or butcher chickens. Never have you seen a white girl rap or dance better than she does. When she calls you by your middle name, you know you're in trouble. She is dedicated, goal-oriented, caring, a bit crazy, but oh, do we love her. This pretty lady is my nacho cheese and fried chicken eating partner in crime. Whether it be digging up the school's front yard, taking a nap in art class, or getting ready for proms and homecomings together, she finds a way to make little moments big memories. Boys all know when they date me, they're dating both of us. Best friend would not be enough to say how much she means to me. She is my adoptive sister here on earth and in the faith.
Approximately 963 weeks ago, my husband and I were told that we were giving birth to a little girl. Scary for us for our age, but we took it on. Unfortunately, the doctor also told us that she would be born without a brain. Boy, did she prove them wrong. We went to specialists, she proved them all wrong. Prejudiced as I may be, being her mother, she is the most caring, loving, and adventuresome person I know. There is no stopping her. From her most devout faith in the Lord, which she shares with everyone, to her ever-changing growth and maturity, and most of all, her giving her standard farewell to anyone she says goodbye to of, "You guys make the right choices now." There's nothing that she won't do for anyone. And although there has been many times that her squirrely ways have made me stop, shake my head, especially when she's trying to teach me Morganese, which is a new language that we've developed, I shake my head, and after the dust is settled, her reasoning, no matter how scary to me at the time, has made sense in the end. Anyone who truly has taken the time to know my daughter Morgan has always seen her as a capable, confident, and determined young lady in every sense. Whether she was raising worms, selling those worms at markets, teaching the Master Gardeners Club about her worms, and then going on to normal things like potbelly pigs that think they're dogs, rabbits, and any other animal that she thought our half acre of land would make into a farm for her. I am here to confirm that she is the only girl that has taken all that on and can still go on a high school ski trip and take her own crutches, knowing full well that she would be coming home on them. She was taken on a semi-truck and won, trying to get in unbelievable fog, trying to get to her FFA office hours on time here on campus. Even though there were times where people wondered if she really did have a brain because of forgetting basic things like ODs or nylons or shoes, the girls always carried little things that most people needed. There is not a day that goes by that I don't learn something new from her, and there is no stopping her when she sets her mind to getting something done. Dad and I love you and can't wait to see what the future holds for you.
Please help us both by giving it up and welcoming my friends
And my daughter,
your
2015-2016 Region 6 State Vice President with her retiring address, Morgan Stewart!
is regret.
It has taken the world by storm. The selfie. How many of us can say that we've taken a few selfies in our day?
Connor and I have taken quite a few selfies during our time in FFA. Want to see them?
In January, I had the opportunity to travel to South Africa as a part of the International Leadership Seminar for State Officers. This country and the individuals that I shared it with now hold an extremely special place in my heart. 4 of these individuals were Madison Benson and Derek Anderson from Tennessee, Mitchell Pinnell from New Mexico, and Miss Abby from Washington. Together, we all stood on the edge of the Blythe River Canyon and took what is now one of my favorite selfies from this entire trip.
So, fun fact, my cell phone does not have a front-facing camera. Pretty lame, right? But it makes taking selfies extremely difficult, especially with a selfie stick. So during Fall PDI this year, I met Chrissy Polson of the Saline FFA chapter, and she let me borrow her cell phone to take this selfie of us with some other members from her FFA chapter. My lack of technology led to new friendships and new memories that were made.
So, as you can see, Morgan and I have had the opportunity to make so many incredible memories during our time in the Blue Jacket. In fact, how about we take a selfie right now to remember this memory?
Smile pretty. $525,600. The number of minutes we have in 1 year. Can you imagine how many selfies we can take in that time? Now, although this seems like a long time, those minutes are constantly counting down. And in the blink of an eye, they're over. There isn't time to waste because each one of these minutes represents a choice to be made. A choice of how we want to spend time. Sometimes it seems like we don't even have enough time to figure out the choice we want to make. We just have to act in the moment.
Now, it truly is interesting how many choices go into the simple act of taking a selfie. Think about it. You have to choose what angle you want it taken at, if you're going to sport the ever so famous duck face, or just a simple smile, what filters you want to use, and then finally, how you're going to caption it with the perfect emoji. All of these choices for yet again, one selfie.
Something special about these 525,600 minutes, though, is the fact that they start over each and every year, giving us the opportunity to either make new choices or improve on the choices we've already made. Some might say we never get a second chance at doing something, but maybe that isn't always true.
All right, I am going to have us all break the #1 rule in school. Everybody, take out your phones. Now, thinking about all of those choices that we just talked about, I want each and every one of you to take an individual selfie and make sure that we can clearly see your blue corduroy jacket in that picture. Take a good look at the individual in that picture. And now, let's all put our phones back away.
So my favorite season is football season. Any football fans here this morning? Now, I know I was born and raised in Michigan, but I can't help but root for my Green Bay Packers. If there is one thing I cannot stand, it's when my team loses to its rival. Like when Detroit beat Green Bay at Lambeau Field this year. That broke my heart. But what hurts more than losing, though, is when my team doesn't even play to their full potential. Like in the first half of the Lions versus Packers game at Ford Field. Games like this make me feel like my team isn't even trying to achieve greatness. This lack of motivation perfectly describes the freshman athlete version of myself.
All right, so I think we need to get one thing out of the way right now. And that is that I have never been a huge fan of heights. And that is pretty unfortunate for someone who is constantly looking for another adventure to go on. At the end of 6th grade, my class took a trip to Camp Leelanau, an outdoor activity center located on the Sleeping Bear sand dunes of Lake Michigan. I had heard rumors throughout the year that this camp was what some would call the mother of all high ropes courses. Whenever my friends and I would talk about it, me being the big deal that I just knew I was, would always remind them, don't worry guys, I've got this.
So let me take you back to my days as an athlete. It was the winter of my freshman year, and my friend Nicole and I made the choice to try out for the girls' junior varsity basketball team. Now, after an intense week of tryouts, the names were finally posted. We both made the team. Sweet! Game after game, I would sport my number 50 jersey and lace up my blue Nikes. Game after game, I would run onto the court full of energy and give my all during warm-ups. Game after game, I sat on the bench and watched Nicole and the rest of my team reach victory without me. Game after game, my confidence went from here to here to here. During practice, I was always the last partner picked for drills and for scrimmages. If most of my teammates didn't believe in me, why should I? The day before our rival game, I took my jersey off for the last time. I quit.
The day had arrived. It was time to suit up in our harnesses and conquer this high ropes adventure. My group made our way out into the woods, and the further we got in, I could see it. It was by far one of the most extreme things that I had ever seen, with obstacles and courses strung all throughout the trees. The balancing log beam, the loops where you step 1 foot through each one at a time, and of course, the flea jump, hopping from one platform to another. All of these again, 40 feet in the air. I was ready. I got my harness on, put on my helmet, and stood at the base of one of the ladders. I made my first step, slowly climbing up into the treetops. When I reached the top, I latched myself onto one of the cables and looked down. Instantly, I grabbed onto the nearest pole that I could find, and then proceeded to cry like a little baby. This now seemed like it was going to be an impossible task. Maybe I wasn't so big and tough after all.
We've all been there before. That feeling where the weight of the world is crushing us and our goals seem just out of reach. Looking back, the only person stopping me from playing basketball was myself. Now Nicole, she is a whole other story. When I left the team, she became the last partner picked for drills and for scrimmages, and she began to feel alone. But she rose above. She pushed the weight of the world's negativity off her shoulders when the going got tough. She didn't believe in impossible.
Now, spending a good 10 minutes up there making it a great old waterworks festival, I decided to come down. I had accepted defeat. The rest of the time, I watched my friends be fearless up on the course. But just as we were wrapping up, one of the camp counselors who was still up in the course hollered down to me to get my harness back on and go back up. Surrounded by my friends who cheered me on the entire way, I finally decided to go back up. But this time, I did not cry. Instead, I made my way across the log beam and smiled, knowing that I had just conquered something that I once thought was impossible.
When we no longer believe in impossible,
we then have the power to be unstoppable.
when we're having a bad hair day, be unstoppable by setting the new trend. When we're struggling in a class, be unstoppable by asking for help from a classmate or a teacher. When our goals seem just out of reach, be unstoppable by digging deep within yourself and reaching for those goals. Committing to being unstoppable helps us aim to be better individuals.
Our lives are surrounded by and made up of constant choices. And these choices are what lead us to being unstoppable. When we have no control over our choices, we have no control over our lives. We are letting life push us around. When we control our choices, though, we are able to walk with our heads higher because we know that we are unstoppable. We begin to live life having a healthy disregard for the impossible.
Being unstoppable starts with you. It takes a person's drive to be more and to be greater than the person they were the day before.
While it isn't going to be easy, we can never be afraid to accept the challenge that is put in front of us. Aim to be an individual who never takes no for an answer and who isn't afraid to try something new to better our lives.
Think back on those selfies we took earlier. Think really hard about the person in that picture. That person is unstoppable.
Life is never going to push that individual around because that person is strong. If there ever comes a moment in our lives where we have the feeling that we are not enough, make sure that we look back on this selfie and let it serve as a reminder that we always have the power to be unstoppable. 525,600 minutes of each and every year.
Whether we are still in our blue corduroy jackets,
or we have taken that jacket off for the very last time. Michigan FFA, be unstoppable.
Stewart, you are the baby of our family and the queen of sign language. And although I may not be able to sign this, I wanted to let you know that our whole team appreciates you being a part of this team through thick and thin. You have a heart of service, and we wouldn't want anybody else to be with us on this team. Michigan FFA, our Region 6 State Vice President, Morgan Stewart.
Connor Ewald, Big C. It doesn't matter what anybody on our team calls you, your leadership on this team is absolutely undeniable. Your love of life, musicals, and politics is truly inspirational. I just hope that everyone can find something they're as passionate about as you are about so many things. Thank you for being on this team. I can't imagine this team without you on it. Michigan FFA, our state president, Connor Ewald.